Hey guys, this is Wolvie here with the second part of 2. And this is, again, some of this is towards the newer players, but not all of it. And again, like I was saying in part 1, I was inspired, the whole debate, how people say, it's not free to play friendly. Some people say it is, the game's being so generous, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully, with this particular part, I may be sounding like one who's kind of debunking the whole issue of debunking if this game is free to play friendly or this game is not as free to play friendly. And what I'm going to do in this particular video, and again, this is a special presentation of sorts, is I'm going to go over what excludes, I'm going to go over the consistent resources that will help determine if this game really is as free-to-play friendly as some people claim, or if it is not. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over what I feel should not be included in the numbers of the gems per month. And the reason why I'm going to exclude the following out of the list is because some things people do at their own pace. And some people don't do certain things right away, some people do. So there is that. So the number one thing I'm going to be excluding from the numbers that helps determine things here are going to be the main story gems. And the reason I am excluding the main story here is, again, this is one area where people go at it at their own pace. Some people can get through both the normal and hard modes rather quickly. Some people cannot. And some people do not. So another exclusion I have here in my notes are the lost chapters. And the reason why I'm excluding this completely, again, this is the main story, there is no time limit. And there are people who have yet to get through the more recent lost chapters. I am completely caught up with my lost chapters, so yeah. Another element I'm going to go into that to exclude, some stuff are going to be the World of Illusions, but there are some stuff within the World of Illusions that I will include. And I'll get to that when I get there. So, when it comes to time-limited stuff, it really depends. So another aspect I'm going to exclude are the global originals. And by that, the global original, that's meaning that these things some stuff that JP may not have, and it wouldn't be fair for me to, do a comparison to include that. So anything, and the reason why I mentioned some parts of World of Illusions I don't include is because there are things like the Ultimate Esper Trials. There's no time limit on most of those. And when it comes to the event reward stuff, that I certainly will not include because, again, some people may not be able to get through all of it. And there are others who just cannot get to the score requirements. So that's something, do I really want to include it? No. It wouldn't be fair. So, with that, all of that out of the way, the non-time limited stuff, and then the event rewards that I'm forced to exclude because, again, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to go over what I will include. What actually does count as the consistent numbers. So the first consistent numbers are going to be the character events. Global usually gets to a month. And there are character events where it starts in 1 month and then ends the next. So, yeah. So and then also the daily login reward. So that's another thing I'm going to include in the consistent numbers. The third one is the daily mission clear rewards, which is 5. You have to clear 5 missions in order to get the gems there. Then you also have the panel missions. I will be including that as well because it's 2 a month. It's recently implemented on global. I pretty much will have to honor that. And then, like I said, I did mention some stuff along the way of World of Illusions stuff. And the stuff I will be including in the World of Illusions are the Radiant Artifacts. So I forgot the exact moment where these started on the lost chapters, but now the character events have it too, and Renoa's event was the first character event to have included the Radiant Artifacts, which is an easy 350 gems from if you're doing the 3 character system version of the Radiant Artifacts. Now you have the token exchange from the character events. That's something that, again, I will include because a lot of us could get them with very little difficulty. So, and then also the numbers. For the character events is roughly 2 a month on Global. Daily login is going to be 3 times a month, which is 400 gems each time. Daily missions, you're talking about roughly 30 days in the month on average, which is 30 instances. The panel missions, it's usually 2. And then with the Radiant Artifacts for the Lost Chapters, is 2 per month. The token exchange, and again, this is per character event, it's roughly 500 to 600 gems. And then now, again, with the Radiant Artifacts from the character events beginning with Renoa, it's another 2 on that one, on average based on the character events. So when it comes to some of the numbers I've gotten, so the grand total of the number of gems we get per month, based on some of the stuff that I've included, it's going to be anywhere between 9,000 and roughly 11,700 gems per month. Now, this is actually good for at least 1 10 plus 1 pull on the lower end of the spectrum. And the 11,700 is on the upper end. So how did I come up with this number exactly? So when it comes to the token exchange, so it comes down to certain numbers. So again, when it comes to the daily mission rewards, we clear that 5th mission, and this is on most occasions, mind you. So it's going to be roughly 100 gems a day for after that 5th mission. So 100 gems times 30 days in the month, which is about 3,000. And then when it comes to the daily login rewards, we get to the gems aspect of the daily login. It's around 400 gems each occurrence. So you times it by 3 because it comes around 3 times a month on average, and it's 1,200. So when you come to the Radiant Artifacts from the Lost Chapters, it's around 700 for that, as well as another 700 for the Radiant Artifacts from the character events. That begins with Renoa. With panel missions, again, this is on average on most occasions for twice a month. You're talking about 1,000 per instance. And the way I got to the 1,000, you're talking about it's roughly 200 gems when you get to one particular mission. And then you have those line clear rewards, which is 100 gems per line cleared, and it's 8 lines. So that's where I got the 1,000, and because it happens twice a month, it's roughly 2,000. And then the whole thing with a token exchange, you've had missions for the character events, and then you have the number of missions like cleared and completed, and then you have the EX missions, which is roughly 500 gems, alongside the co-op, which is another 500 gems. You multiply those both by 2 each because you have 2 character events per month on average. So this is where I got a bunch of my numbers from. So like I said, it's roughly anywhere between 9,000 and roughly 11,700, which means, again, it depends on how much you've gotten cleared. If you missed out on EX missions, so you have to subtract all that. So I do have a range, and that's where the range is approximately at per month, 9,000 to 11,700. In the upper end, you barely have enough for 2 10 plus 1 pulls, plus stuff from the item store, which is like books of training, treasure, fortune, relics of all knowledge. And so that's where you have to spend a lot of your items, all that stuff. And it's kind of confusing for the most part. Now the biggest question of them all. Is the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia Global really as free-to-play friendly as people claim? Well, here, like I said, it's a very complicated question because both sides actually present excellent arguments. Now, I gotta pause here because I gotta take a drink of water. So, I'm going to try to answer this as honestly. I'm going to be completely honest here. I'm going to be playing devil's advocate for both sides. So if you're brand new to the city of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, this actually is free to play friendly. But it gets to, when you get to a certain point and where it's not as free to play friendly, and the point is where you're at the maximum rank, you have everything complete, and you don't really have much to do. So if you're brand new, it is a yes, but it's up to a degree. However, I am a veteran. I'm day one global, and I managed to get everything complete on watch chapters and the main story so far. So when it comes down to the veterans, it really depends on your overall progress of the game. If you still have areas to farm, I would probably say maybe free to play friendly. But if you're completely caught up, then definitely not. And especially if you're completely caught up and you're at the highest rank right now. So with this in mind, my final advice and thoughts on this, again, you take those arguments you see on this game with a grain of salt. And when it comes down to being free to play or even pay to play, when it comes to, you really should be micromanaging your resources. And the reason why I say even this should apply to pay to play is because we shouldn't be emptying our wallets just to get the gems. We really shouldn't. However, to counter the free to play argument saying, oh, this is so free to play, this is so generous, the thing is, it's like, you have to really realize you don't get that much to begin with. In the realms of, how do I want to say this? It's when it comes to free to play friendly and their argument, that argument really starts to fall apart is the individual rank and how much of the game they've completed, and sense of the stuff that does not have the time limit on it. And another thing here, one piece of advice I want to bring out, this is regardless if you're new or if you're a veteran, just don't force your style of play pulling down other people's throats, because it's only going to succeed them wanting to not play the game anymore. And when it comes to the research, when it comes to the math, the arithmetic, don't be afraid to cross-reference things. And so, in my personal opinion, I do not think this is as free-to-play friendly as some people claim to be. And partially for me, my reasoning is, like I said, I'm actually at the highest rank right now on Global. I also happen to have completed everything in the main story up to this point, as well as every lost chapter up to this point. The fact that I'm completely done there, I just don't have as many ways to farm for the resources for free as some of the others, because the way I play differs from Joe Schmo down the street. And that's okay. People don't play the game the same way. And I just wish people, will understand, certain things are here for a reason. The bundles are here for a reason, But yes, I will say that this game is not as free-to-play friendly as people think it is, but that is more so for the veterans. I mean, if you're brand new to the game, it is free to play, but you have to be mindful of the fact that once you get your rank really high, and once you have everybody developed, where they can get to the max level without necessarily going to their maximum crystal strength level, it means you pretty much ran out of resources to farm for free. And I am playing devil's advocate for both sides. So yes, it is free to play, but up to a certain point for newer players. If you're a veteran, it's definitely not as free to play. So I'm going to end it on that. With Wolvie here signing off, I will catch you all on the flip side.